Hello there and welcome to Shuttlebay for episode 17. This time we look at the TNG episode Qpid and we discuss alien uniforms. Also, why does Picard wear shit pyjamas?
Does anyone want to start then on the episode?
Yeah, I'm going to start first.
Go on then, Marie.
I thought Jean-Luc Picard in his Robin Hood costume was quite tasty. I preferred him in that than I did in his Star Trek costume.
Did you like Picard's beard? Is that what did it for you?
Well, he looked much younger, I thought.
It did look younger, yeah.
But I did appreciate his Shakespearean acting more as Robin Hood rather than as Jean-Luc.
Yeah. Did you feel it was a well-acted episode overall? Because I did. I know when we were talking, one episode that seems to get mentioned a lot, thanks Penfold, is North Star, right? Because a lot of people felt that some of the acting in it wasn't that great, you know, from like extras and not the main cast. Whereas this felt like it was really solid. I felt anyway. And it did feel as though you were watching a genuine kind of period piece. That if you were to take out the crew, could have been a TV series, especially with John Delancey. I think he was absolutely brilliant in it, but he isn't everything.
One thing that only annoyed me was the fact they kept saying Gisborne in their American accent. I didn't like that. Yeah.
How would you say it? How would Penfold say it? He's from Nottingham.
I've just watched the episode, so I've got Gisborne in my head right now.
Would it just be Gisborne? Guy of Gisborne? Would that be it?
Exactly, Gisborne, yeah.
Yeah. There you go. I did notice as well that I didn't hear one northern accent in the entire episode.
The accents were very British villainous, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can
meet again, Robin Hood. Yeah. And all
I mean,
this.
even, and the staff have got that traditional. If you ever get any sort of like people classes like lower class in some American thing, they always got some like London estuary accent.
It's almost like a really bad Dick Van Dyke. It's like, "God blimey, mate, Marion, what you been doing now?"
That's what Americans think we sound like, don't they?
Yeah.
You can't tell me what to do. You ain't my mother.
I think we could all try and make more of an effort, gentlemen.
Hello, we're Cockneys. Yes, that's right, Cockneys.
Live up to the British reputation.
And I want one of those estuary accents, like hearing Oliver Twist.
Consider yourself at home.
For the first 20 minutes of the episode, I really loved the episode. You know, I thought it was really good. I loved the opening scene. I loved the bit before the credits. Although, you know, how did she get on the Enterprise into the captain's quarters? Yeah, Worf freaked out that she was on the bridge, but she was actually in the captain's quarters. You know, so I liked that. And what I liked as well, there was a couple of bits where she was like, you saw the big kiss, and then we had the credits, and then he sat there pouring tea in his uniform, and I was like, now did he just kiss her and then make tea? How long's she been there? Because he's still in his uniform. Did he go like, yeah, I'm just going to grab a shower and get back in my uniform because someone could come in. So get your knickers on and let's have a cup of tea or something like that. And it was all revealed when Dr. Crusher came in and went, I do morning tea with the captain. I was like, she's been there all night. And we know she was there all night because it was late when he went to his quarters. So because Troy said,
was it because it was dark outside?
I was going to say that.
Yeah, because the stars were out. Yeah. It's because Troy said it's very late, Captain. You should get some rest.
Oh, right.
Minute. Yeah,
gotcha.
So don't come at the big one.
The fact that there was more than one of us thinking that.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, most of the time, Star Trek fans are quite intelligent, but I remember that you got to make allowance for everyone here. So,
with all due respect, I never claimed to be a fan. Okay.
Yeah, or intelligent. And the episode was carrying on like that, and I liked the dynamic when she was getting shown around the ship. And obviously, Riker just turned into a walk-in hard-on. As soon as he sees her in Tim Forward, he was like, "Oh, woman!" And he's straight over there, and it was like he said something really cheesy, like,
"Yeah, I remember
something about eternity, isn't it? Looking out into eternity."
Yeah. Isn't eternity beautiful, or something like
there
that?
You go.
Like, what? And it's like, I was talking about the view, and I was like, wow, that doesn't work now, let alone when we're more evolved.
Yeah, you know,
they've had more luck with Gizawank. So I just, it was painful, but it was good to see. It was good to see Riker kind of cut down a peg or two and put in his place. Like it was almost a caricature of himself, and I thought he needed a haircut. I think Jonathan Frakes and John Delancey, Riker and Q, both needed a haircut.
Yeah, I thought that.
Like, especially John Delancey, he was looking like proper business in the front, party in the back, like almost full on mullet. I was like, it's like he turned up to the set late. Do you know what I mean? Just get me in the thing. Yeah. What about this hair? Yeah. Just grease it up. It'll be good. Yeah, sweet. Right, action. And I thought it was well acted up until that point, and then we cut to this Errol Flynn kind of situation. I wasn't sure about that. I think it fell apart at that point. I thought that Worf, when he took the mandolin off of LaForge and just smashed it against the tree,
and then apologized. Sorry.
Yeah, but even me, I'm just sat there like, that's a bit out of order. You know, I wouldn't have even have done that. And the fact that LaForge just looked at him, I'd have gone, what the bro? And I'd have probably finished the mandolin off on Worf. I didn't get that. There were just people like, it was like, they said to the cast, you know, what should we do next? What would you really like to do? I'll tell you what, can I break the mandolin? Can I do this? And then as Data, can I pull an arrow out? Can I do that? And it kind of really lost its way. I mean, it was entertaining. Like I say, it was very Errol Flynn. It was very Men in Tights. It was very, I don't know what that was. But it was like it was that Shakespearean showcase of Patrick Stewart doing the Men in Tights thing and cutting about. And I was like, what's going on? What is this about? Why are we doing this? What's this got to do with anything? And come the end, I was like, Q did him wrong, did him dirty. He's like, look, I'm taking your bird, man. I'm doing it.
He literally gets on the settee, puts his arm around it.
Puts his arm around it, and we're going to have fun.
Well, he says something like, "I'm going to take you to places that no man could ever take you."
Yeah.
We all know what that means.
yeah. So it's
he's taking her to Sheffield.
Yeah.
I also thought it was really strange how Jean-Luc didn't show any visual signs of jealousy towards Q at all when he knows how naughty he is.
Yeah, he just went, have fun. You know, it's been emotional. Like, he didn't say, you know what, get out. Like, when he first saw him, just for turning up, it was, get out of my chair.
Yeah.
Get off my ship. And then when he's basically said, I'm taking your girlfriend and she's coming with me, it was like, yeah. And it's like the first part of the show was written by someone, and they say, I'm talking, Brush. Just
I was fucking talking. They missed me telling you to shut up, apparently, while I was away.
Yeah, apparently so. So, yeah, it seemed like the first part of the episode was written by one person, and then it was finished off by someone else. It just didn't tie in. I liked the episode. It was really good. It was good to watch. It was a bit of fun. When it rolled on to the next one, as is the case with that mid chunk of the Next Generation, season 4, I could have just sat there watching that all day. And this didn't put me off doing that. It didn't annoy me or anything like that. We got to see the original cast of the pilot episode kind of together with this Vash character coming in there. John Delancey was there. I thought Guinan would have turned up at some point. I didn't remember this episode at all. So I thought Guinan would have turned up at some point when we went to 10 Forward and she came in. I thought this was going to be like a showcase of the women of the Next Generation, you know, and the Doctor and Vash and Troy was quite prominent in some scenes, and I thought Guinan would have been in there, but obviously the budget didn't stretch to it.
You think do you think the women were kind of relegating this episode though? Because at first it felt as though they were.
This episode has been called sexist plenty of times.
Has it? Well, because at one point it looks as though it is kind of empowering the women of Star Trek, because like you got Crusher and Vash who are kind of like know the notes about Jean-Luc. And, let's go for a little walk, and and not.
Yeah, that's totally. We've just busted him. So Vash didn't know about Beverly Crusher. She didn't know about Vash. They've clashed and they've gone. Let's find out. We'll leave him here. We'll find out.
Yeah,
like,
the power.
You could see the captain was just like,
Yeah. They hold the power there, but it quickly goes because then you've got obviously you've got Riker hitting on Vash straight away. The minute he sees us, like hello, and then you've got Worf, who goes,
Nice legs.
She's
for a
nice
human.
legs for it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So again,
Which is, again, that's showing more sexism, isn't it?
Exactly.
In
That's
this
what I mean.
particular episode, yeah.
No, I agree. That's what I mean. Any empowerment that women have in this episode quickly drop. You get like your classic Star Trek sexism, and then even in the fight scenes, you've got them with swords, and then you've got Crusher and Troy throwing plant pots.
Do you know the only two casts that were trained in sword fighting?
Was it
Marina Sirtis and Gates Mafaga?
Really?
Were the only two
there
who
you go.
trained in sword fighting, and they actually went to the director and the producers and went, "Come on," and they just were like, "No." They tried to make out that it's not sexist. It's because we're in the 12th century, and women wouldn't have used swords in the 12th century.
It's just ridiculous. That. Did you see the bit where they like disrobe, where they're hiding, when all the sword fights are happening, and basically they're hiding their like Robin Hood Merry Men clothes under a cloak, but Geordie's got his visor on. Now, if anyone stands out, he's the only black man there as well. You know, everybody would. So Geordie must have stood out like a sore thumb in comparison to everyone else. Steve, by the way, I don't know if you realize, but your video's froze. For the last few minutes, you've just looked really aggressive. You look like you're about to.
Oh,
No, it hasn't froze. That's just exactly how he's sitting.
I can never see him. Why is that? Can't see you anymore, Penfold.
Kay's catalogue pose.
Have you got anything more in this episode then, Patches?
I was going to go to the nice legs for a human, and I was like, you know what? You just say that about a bloke. Just one person say that about a bloke for once.
Yeah.
You know?
This was a great opportunity to do it as well if they were in tights. It would have been a great opportunity to do it.
Yeah. I was fully expecting that to come later on, like Picard strutting his stuff over a like a gangway, chasing everyone off with the swords, and I was expecting it. It would have been brilliant if Worf had gone, nice legs for a human. That would have been brilliant.
It would actually, yeah. It would have been brilliant, yeah.
It would have balanced it all out. And again, Q like reduces Worf to just a beast, and Worf reduces Worf to a beast, and that whole I'm not a merry man. Worf got some. He got some serious lines in this that I would have, if I was Michael Dorn, I'd have gone. I'm not saying that.
Well, you're not saying Worf. So I protest. I am not a merry man. That is my favourite line in possibly all of Star Trek.
I do love that. Like,
and I wouldn't have said that. I would have gone, no, I'm not. I mean, I just wouldn't have done that. And nice legs for him. I wouldn't have done that.
I protest. I am not a merry man.
Yeah, that's my critique of the episode. I'll call it quits there. Everyone needed a haircut as well, so except maybe Patrick. In fact, Patrick Stewart stood there, and it's the way the set's lit. There's a light behind him, and you can see his little frizzy hair. Now it's in 1080p. You can actually see the detail of his little frizzy hair.
Who's going next? Penfold, isn't it? We lost Penfold.
Yeah,
Can't see him anymore.
Yeah, I've had to jump at the car because someone wants me to pick him up. So, cheers, mate.
Right, okay.
So yeah,
don't you need a canoe?
Canoe. Oh, look, I'm going the other way.
It'll be fine.
So basically, I remember this when it first came out. I was so excited because it was Nottingham. I was like, it's going to be Nottingham. Yay, in Sherwood Forest. And it wasn't. Obviously, it was in California somewhere. But it's a typical Star Trek episode I love, you know, dressing up, being in, this case, tights, Robin Hood. I love Vash. I also love the fact that because originally Star Trek wouldn't have a connect in the episode. So when you saw Vash again, I was like, oh my God, it's connected. I know who she is, kind of thing, the history. But I love the humour in it. I know some people didn't like the smashing of the, what is it, a yiddle fiddle, whatever it's called. Mandolin, that's the word. I love that scene, and I really love the scene where Data gets shot in the chest by Deanna Troi.
Yeah,
really is funny. The one thing I did notice, even as a kid, I remember thinking, is when Dr. Crusher and Deanna are fighting. It's completely like the womanly thing to get a vase and smash them over someone's head. I even noticed it back then. I think that's really quite sad. Everyone's got a sword, and those two have just got a vase to hit someone over the head with. I thought it was quite, even now, I think it's a bit cringe moment for me. But yeah, overall, I thought the acting's great. It's a good story. You don't have to really think about it too much. It's not like a really moral of the story. It's just a fun ride. And I think Q does steal the whole episode. I think he's anything he does, anything he appears, I think he always steals it. But the one thing, a little fact, it was written by Iris Stevens, DS9.
Stephen Bray.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, he wrote it. That's my little fact for that one. So yeah, so for me, I really loved it, really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like the. I mean, but basically, he was like a naughty genie for this one, wasn't he? It's like, I'll grant you a wish. What wish do you want? But be careful what you wish for, because I'm going to make it suck.
It's a fun episode. You don't have to think about it, and it's just just do it.
Yeah.
And then it's like a one-off type thing. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to connect the dots or anything. It was just the Vash thing was a little nod to go, yeah, we've been here before. And for a fan who watched it regularly, would go, oh yeah, I knew that it is, but you didn't need to know that.
So who was it written by?
Stephen Bray.
Is that the guy with the little purple glasses? And
the purple.
That's him.
Yeah.
Well, they asked him to come back because I think.
So she comes back in DS9, doesn't she, Vash? Q.
Yeah.
So he must have been behind that as well.
Yeah, it's like a follow-up episode to literally. So that you see Vash's the end of what Vash's story is.
I don't think
he was already in Deep Space Nine, wasn't he? He was already on Deep Space Nine, I think, and so they asked him to come back and write, and they did it because they knew he was such a massive Robin Hood fan. But his original idea was to set it in Camelot. And then I didn't realise, but Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves had recently been released, so they said to cash in on like the Robin Hood theme. They changed it to Sherwood Forest. So.
This was more like the Mel Brooks situation than
You love that film. That's one of my favourite films. Men in Tights. Well, somebody's in that? Who's in that? I'm not going to say. Oh, I can't use my fucking phone to look at stuff because I've got to use it.
What are you about?
Men in Tights.
Men in Tights. There's a Star Trek actor in there.
Let's have a look.
I'm trying to think now. I can't think of one.
Somebody do my research for me today, please. Thank you, assistant.
Mel Brooks,
Peter.
Carrie Evans, Richard Lewis,
Harry
Dave
Elwes.
Chappelle. Dave Chappelle's in that. I saw his special today. Patrick Stewart's in it.
There, so I thought I didn't want to say Patrick Stewart literally, but I thought it was Patrick Stewart.
Some actor. Some actors.
Have
you got anything left, Penfold? Or you spent?
No, that's it. That's it. That's all I got.
He wants to go, Tish Bond. What's Tish Bond all about anyway? Or is it shit Bond? Is that what it is? Is it an anagram?
Okay. I know why that is. Do you remember when I did that? I did my nose thing with James Bond theme.
Yes.
Yes. This is the first time I've used my laptop. Normally I use my phone.
Right. There we go then.
That
makes sense.
Right. Here we go. Prince of Thieves is 91. This episode was first aired in April 91. So hot off the heels of that.
Yeah.
And Men in Tights is 93. So.
Right. Okay.
So Patrick Stewart's stellar performance in this episode, doing his Errol Flynn thing with his sword fighting and his hand on his hip and Campus Maximus business. That was his big audition for Men in Tights. There you go.
I must admit, this does have the impression of something that was rushed really quickly because of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. It's like, right, we've got 5 days to do an episode. You write it, guys. Come in tomorrow, and we're just going to film it.
Yeah, no time for haircuts, no time for real dialogue. They've got the start of the episode already written, but then just bung some Robin Hood in there. And Michael Dawn's like,
the sets are really good.
Yeah, the sets are really, really good because I was wondering if I did Google to see if these were like another film that they'd used. A bit like I think Brush has mentioned in the past about Carry On Cleo. Or it might have been actually when we sat and had a coffee the other day. But Carry On Cleo used the sets from Cleopatra, and I thought this might be that sort of thing. But I suppose you are going to have loads of like medieval castle sets at the Paramount lot. They're going to have something.
Yeah,
like
the back lot. They could just drag out these paper mache castles and stuff. Yeah. So,
It was quite rushed though, because they only spent 1 day filming out of the studio, which there was loads of scenes that were filmed, out on location. But I felt a lot, but they did only have 1 day.
I bet it was just the foresty bits. I bet it was just when we were in because I bet everything else would have been in the studio. The castle and everything.
Yeah,
town. Yeah,
it definitely wasn't Sherwood Forest. It wasn't Sherwood Forest.
It definitely wasn't Sherwood Forest. Do you want to go
find
next,
out
Chris?
that John Delancey can ride a horse?
I didn't know that.
So I didn't watch the episode. I mean, I do know it. I've seen it many times, but I know it. I've seen it. The only thing I picked up on really was something that Patches said. It's the first one where he said, I don't know if it was Patches or Steve said it. Someone said it was very much Dick Van Dyke-ish.
Yeah.
That's so true. You could just kind of Robin Hood, step in time. And then the other thing where he clearly took Vash to bed, and then it was the morning. Now, what I had in my mind was very much it should have had German porn music in the background.
Yeah.
So he was missing that.
We could have seen Patrick Stewart's chest. We've seen it before.
Carried on that whole sexist vibe. They were just
Yeah.
taking it through this whole episode too.
Actually, it was in the episode that Vash was in first time round. He should have been wearing that. You know, he's got it all hanging out.
Low V, bro. That's low.
See, that's what really happened in that bedroom. He was there in that low V, in the sun lounger, in his quarters, reading a book. You coming to bed? No.
I might have a look for one of them for Blackpool and just cut around in the lowest V I can find. Just sit there in the bar reading a book with one of them little dolls on the thing. Just just reading the Kama Sutra.
Kama Sutra for Klingons. Oh yeah.
You can't appreciate the Kama Sutra until you read it in the original Klingon.
I watched the episode at lunchtime because I sort of half forgot. I liked the episode. I thought it was fun. It was one of those that it didn't take a shut up, calm down. I can
Two in a row.
Right. Yes, I liked the episode. It didn't take itself very seriously. It was a light-hearted sort of standalone. I like the fact that for once, Picard was in the uncomfortable position when it came to women. He's very much where his two separate worlds sort of collided a little bit. You know, I thought it was interesting the way that Vash knew everything about the crew and everything else, yet nobody had even heard of her. You know, and I thought I think that highlighted just how separately he keeps everything, and that being the captain means he is this figurehead as opposed to one of the crew, one of them.
Yeah, I got that.
I like the episodes with Q. I think they're good. They're always fun. They're light-hearted. And he is a little bastard, which I like. It sort of reminds me of Brush.
Has Penfold got chips?
Fish and chip.
He's been chipping.
Nicked out and got fish and chips for everybody as well.
He's got
not everybody, Penfold, because there's none here.
Yeah, Penfold, at least turn your camera off, prick.
I did ask. But I was too shocked that Steve said he liked the episode. It just flew me off, and I forgot the audio.
You're so damn funny. I hope you choke on a chip.
Dan, did you make any notes about this episode?
I did, but I only watched this episode literally that's why I was a couple of minutes late on this. I just watched it, so we know it's a bit of a mess. But one thing that I wanted to mention is something Steve mentioned actually, that it's my main takeaway from this, is the fact that I think Steve said that Picard had two separate worlds colliding in this episode, and I thought it was really good how it's kept them so separate. Like with Vash, like you mentioned, he's never mentioned Vash to anybody else, and I don't think anyone was offended by that. They were kind of playing with Picard. Oh, you've never mentioned her before. Oh, you never mentioned me before, and they weren't offended by it. They were toying with him, and he was a bit uncomfortable. And one of the notes I've got is the fact that you can tell this is a season 4 episode rather than, because in season 1 or 2 this wouldn't have worked. But in the later season, the crew have really gelled together. They're a band of merry men. They're a band of mates, and they get on really. You know what I mean? And it's that wouldn't have worked in an earlier season episode. So I was pleased to see that, the fact that it just worked well, and he got a sense of closeness with the crew. The fact that they were able to rib each other a bit and not take offense, and like little things like when Picard walked in and Vash was sat in his chair. If this was season 1 or 2, it'd have been like, get the fuck up, you know what I mean? It had gone like it did with Wesley Crusher, for being on the bridge, and he didn't get that. I know he did it with Q, but another thing I want to mention with Picard and Q, I love their interactions because it doesn't come across that they hate each other. It comes across that Picard maybe dislikes Q, but he doesn't hate him. But Q comes across as really, really fond of Picard. And at first I thought there's something. It's almost like it's almost like he fancies him. But then I thought, no, actually, no, it's not like that. I think what they remind me of, two brothers, right? Obviously, they love each other because they're brothers, but they're constantly bickering. And I don't know if anybody in here has got a brother or even just a sibling. But if you've got a sibling of a similar age, you're always winding each other. Always, you know what I mean? Little tip taps that you know how to press each other's buttons, and that's what Q does with Picard. It's sometimes it's a big thing, sometimes it's a small thing, but the way he talks to him is always just little gentle ribbing, and I really enjoyed that. Now, this is an episode that I've kind of avoided a bit in the past. If I'm doing a run through of the episodes, I will watch it. I'll never miss one. But I wouldn't single this one out because it always came across as a bit daft, one that I'm not too bothered about watching. But I really enjoyed it this time. I still think it's not like a fantastic episode, but I love the funny lines in it, the humour in it, and I think the quality of the acting as well. This kept me locked into it, and I love the, I am not a merry man. I do love that line, and I love the smashing of the mandolin, and I love the arrow in the chest. But one of my favourite bit, and I actually laughed out loud at this. I don't laugh out loud very often at Star Trek. Is right at the end where Q says to Picard, are you not going to give her a kiss goodbye then? And he looks at her and he goes like, oh, all right then. And he like goes poof and he disappears. And then this is about to kiss him. Q appears again and they both look at him and he goes, oh, I forgot my hat. And
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot my hat.
And I just really laughed at that. I thought it was a really good line. But Q he's like Bob Picardo. He gets all the best lines and he gets away with it. And I really love John DeLancer as an actor. I just every time I see him in this or anything else, he always steals it. Picard and Try, blah blah blah, vulnerable side. We've done all that. It starts at the beginning when Picard's on about. He's clearly nervous about going to this symposium, and he says to Try, what do you think? Should I do this? Should I do that? So straight away showing his vulnerabilities that he would never have done in an earlier season. I put oh yeah, Picard. Just Patrick Stewart looks so old. It did kind of look like Vash's dad rather than a love interest half the time.
Get him on the list.
There's 18 years between them, by the way. I did check. Patrick Stewart was born in 1940. She's born in 58, which I think is the same year as my dad. Nice legs. We've done that. It's wonderful to see you again. How about a big hug? Oh, yeah, that's just a great Q line. I thought it was really good. Q, we've said that Picard looks really good in a Robin Hood uniform with his little beard and everything, but Q looks great in a Starfleet uniform. Now, it's not the first time we've seen him in a Starfleet uniform. It's definitely the only time, but he looks great in it. And part of me thinks I would have loved to have seen John DeLancer. He's just a regular crew member. I think I just would love to have seen him in every episode. I've mentioned that I was at Sherwood Forest today, but I said that in the episode anyway. Funny moments, we've mentioned all those. And so, I don't think I've got anything more to add other than what I've just said there. It's an episode that traditionally I wouldn't gravitate towards, but because I've not seen it for a while, I knew about a lot of the lines, especially I'm Not a Merry Man, but I kind of forgot how just genuinely funny it was. And for all the flaws of this episode, and there are quite a lot of flaws, it constantly keeps you entertained and it's very different to most Star Trek. Most Star Trek episodes aren't that funny, but this one is all the way through pretty much. And that's all I've got to say on that matter.
I have got
John Delancey walks a very fine line, doesn't he, between overdoing it and being like really we know he's omnipotent and all of that lot, but the way he talks to and he'll lean back and go mon Capitan and all of that lot, he plays it well. He walks a fine line, but he's always on the right side of that line.
For a lot of other actors, I think it would be a really crap part because it'd be overdone, it'd be ridiculous, it'd be campy. But with John Delancey, there's just the way he delivers it's always with a little twinkle in his eye, and it's I don't know, I think I find him quite magnetic to watch. I think his performances are brilliant.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, I'll never forget when I thought for a second in Voyager that they were going to try and replace him. When the first Q episode in Voyager starts with the other Q rescued from the asteroid, and he was like, "So you're Q," and I was like, "Oh no, he's fucking not." Like, where's John Delancey? I was getting ready to turn it off, and then he appears. I was like, "Oh, that's all right. It's fixed. Everything's okay. No need to nuke Star Trek."
Yeah.
It's a very like my missus. I have to admit, I didn't watch this episode either today because I didn't actually realise that you'd put up an episode. But I have, in the last 2 months, watched all of TNG with my other half, introducing us to Star Trek, so I did know it quite well. And it was one of her favourite episodes, so...
Yeah.
How did you sell that, John Joe? How did you sell that?
I put it on the TV and was like... We started with the movie period, so although I didn't show a motion picture first, I did go straight to Rafa Khan because I was like, if I show a motion picture, she's never ever going to watch this ever again. We have gone back since and watched that, but we've just done it in order. We're halfway through DS9 at the minute, and she's loving Kira, obviously. Just watch it. It's interesting. It's not as geeky as you think because there's daft episodes followed by very, very serious tackling issues episodes, like, for instance, perfect 2 episodes together, really, isn't it? Qpid and then Drumhead.
Yeah.
I just went from the beginning. I found it really hard to believe that Captain Picard would have a Horgon on his table in his quarters.
Horgon, that's it.
That was ridiculous. I didn't actually. I don't like Bash, if I'm honest, as a character, and I don't like Picard's little interactions with her because it doesn't always come across as sincere, though, from his character's point of view. My favourite character in this whole thing was the maid servant.
Oh, the Cockney maid server.
Yeah.
But I have some nice fresh leeches.
The leeches.
Yeah, she was hysterical. And then it's like, I'm writing you a letter. You've got to go out. She's like, no, isn't it? It's late. And I don't know. I thought everything that she ever said in the episode was hysterical. So I'm giving her the best actor.
You want me to go to Sherwood Forest at this time of night? But it's dark.
And otherwise, as an episode, it was fun. I will agree with it. It was fun. Worf's lines are amazing. But as an overall episode, this is one that I would avoid as well. Just because it's like I've seen it enough times now to know what it is. And it's nice to see them having fun. But I don't know, when I choose to watch a Star Trek episode, I want more than that from it.
You don't want fun.
I have got somebody who appeared in Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, wait there.
Guy Gisborne.
Come on, people. It was the guy of Gisborne.
Yay.
Clive Revill. He's been in 2 episodes of Murder, She Wrote. And then I got some omays that weren't covered. So we said that Ira Stephen Bear wrote this and had suggested Camelot, but then stuck with Sherwood Forest. Is anybody an Animal House fan? Because I'm not a massive Animal House fan. Apparently, he paid homage to the film Animal House by using when Worf actually smashed Geordie's mandolin and then gives him the non sequitur, "I'm sorry."
John
That is
Belushi.
total homage apparently to Animal House. Now I don't know what scene is from. Can you tell us, Gerd?
John Belushi does that. They're having their toga party, and he's absolutely off his tits, and someone's playing a guitar and trying to impress some woman that he likes, and he just smashes the guitar and takes the woman. So.
Sorry.
So during filming, when there was a fight scene, Jonathan Frakes was using his big stick, whatever you call it, quarterstaff. And when a sword hit it, and apparently it shattered and caused him to cut his eye seriously enough that he had to be taken immediately to hospital. I mentioned the Marina Sirtis and Gates McFadden were the only 2 in the cast trained to sword fight, but weren't allowed to hold a sword because they were women. And boots obviously get in the way. Patrick Stewart. Now, this is according to Patrick Stewart's stunt double in this episode, because I'd never heard this before. Patrick Stewart and Jennifer Hattrick, who played Vash, were engaged when this was being filmed, apparently.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Even though, he comes across and he's old enough to be her dad, he was still fucking engaged to her in real life.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, is that...
I'm sorry, what?
I'm getting like...
So Picard and Vash were engaged in real life. Yeah.
I remember this. Yeah.
Oh,
I did not know that.
I don't think it didn't last very long because then he met his wife on Star Trek as well, didn't he? She was a producer, and he's been married to her now for like years and years.
I must admit that chemistry didn't come across very strong in the episode.
No, it didn't, did it? It felt awkward as well. Yeah.
It's called
and also, so I'll pick up on something that Pat has said. Everyone picks up on something Pat has said because he said so much. But it's been, I've even forgot it was that boring. I've even forgot it was that boring. You said that Picard comes across as a bit of a smoothie. You know, Picard being a smooth, and he's not. He's like so awkward in this episode and so embarrassed of her presence in every scene.
I disagree. I disagree.
Yeah, I know you disagree. That's why I'm saying I disagree.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Hello. We can see a crazy eye. Hi. Hi.
Penfold, there appears to be a floating head nearby, sir.
It's a weird child.
So my last little thing from this is John Delancey, when they asked him to come back for this episode, the one thing he did ask from them was, please don't make this another comedy episode, because the one he had done previously was. And so when he said it came out and it was a comedy episode, he said, I did everything possible while I was acting to try and not make me come across as funny. He wanted to be like, show him as being the real villain Q was. And he wanted to hark back to a couple of the first episodes he did where he was like, actually, what he was doing was stupid, but he was nasty, and it had a pointed moment to it. Whereas he tried to play like that, but the episode in general was a total comedy episode, so it didn't really come across.
Yeah. Q did go back to his original kind of thing of putting Picard on trial. I know we hear in Picard that the trial never ended, but that's what this episode kind of was from Q's perspective, weren't it? It was putting him on trial, see how he acts.
Well, I think the point for Q in this episode was to show Picard that you have got a romantic bone in your body, and actually you need that. I think that's what he was trying to do, because he was embarrassed about Vash in the beginning, and Q immediately picked up on that, so wanted to play on it. So I think forced him in a situation where he had to show that he did have feelings for Vash. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. No, if I had the opportunity to go one way to get away from Michael Bond, I would happily go. If I have to get away from Michael Bond, even for 5 minutes. So a one-way trip to Mars, even if it explodes, to get away from Michael Bond, I will do that shit. I'll do it all day long.
Who's Michael Bond?
Oh, it's just
Michael.
You've met Michael Bond. Patches, you've met him. He was the big guy that I was with the beard.
Oh, with the beard.
Yeah.
Oh, is that in here for his benefit?
Yeah. If I could get away from him, I'd do it all day long.
Does Michael Bond watch these?
I've invited him along so many times.
Let's all say hello to Michael Bond. Hello, Michael Bond. Hello. Please join us. See you next week. The name's Bond. Michael Bond. D and Jed, did you watch it?
Yeah. Well, Qpid.
Yeah.
Going back to that.
What?
Are we going back to Qpid?
Yeah, go for it.
Going quite the time.
Oh.
Well, I was making tea, so Jed kindly sat and watched it for me. I said, wait for me, I'll put it on. I'll wait for me while I set the tea off. And when I come back, it was 15 minutes to the... No, it wasn't. It was bloody credits.
Yeah, it was credits. Did he recognise any of the characters or the actors in this time? Or
was that bald fella?
There was a part in it where, what's her name?
Deanna
Troy. She's firing the arrows and she hits Data. And I compare that to Dee when we took her playing golf. And she sliced the ball and sent it flying behind us and missed a fella walking past with a pint by about an inch. But yeah, we watched it. I remember it from years ago. It was funny. It's Worf's got some good lines in it. I'm not a merry man. And with the whatever it is, the guitar, the loot, smashing that. Can someone tell Picard to change his pyjamas to shit? What? Just weird boxer shorts. But yeah, I laughed through it. Yeah, it's a funny one. It takes me back to all them old swashbuckling fight scenes where they used to jump off the tables and land on two people, and it's just.
Yeah, Picard did that bit.
Yeah, I know he did. It's just one of them, isn't it? From what is it in the 1930s? Them kind of the swashbuckling fights.
Yeah, the Errol Flynn kind
of. All that.
Uncle Errol.
Yeah, Uncle Errol.
But you say that. You say the jumping off the table and landing on two people. That's a bit like Trial and Tribulation, but they have the fight in the cafe.
Yeah.
And they're all launching off the tables and shit, aren't they?
Mm.
Oh, did you notice they did a two-handed punch as well in this? Picard did his...
I noticed that. Yeah. I noticed that, yeah. Loved it.
Because the first punch he does, it like pretty much knocks the guy out, and it's such a light. It just like slaps him in chest. It just like backhands him in chest, and this guy goes, "Oh,
yeah, brilliant."
Did you like Patrick Stewart's stuntman?
Yeah.
No. I'll tell you what, the Lord of Ginsborn or whatever it is, that dude from Murder She Wrote.
I think I know what you're going to say. Say it.
when he dies, when he buys it, that
He falls. Yes.
That is pretty damn good. Actually.
I thought that because he rolls off the steps onto the ground.
Yeah, and there's like a 6 foot drop, and he hits that hard. He goes straight down, and I was watching him, and he holds it to the end of the scene. But as soon as it went cut, he's gone. Oh, you bastard!
Fucking hell! Yeah. Because I don't think that was meant to happen, because that wasn't the. I don't think that was actually him, wasn't it? And I reckon he was maybe just meant to just like slouch down and like, and he just went for it. He rolled off the steps, hit the ground. But I was like, I expect to see the ground kind of like give, like, oh, it's a sub, but it's not. It just goes poof.
Who else did that? Somebody, a famous Star Trek actor did that. Was it Marina Sirtis where she broke her ribs? Where she that in the one where Tasha Yar dies, where she throws herself on the floor. She was like, "Can I?" And the producers went, "Oh, go on," and she threw herself on the floor and broke a rib, I think.
Yeah. Oh man, I've got an oh my. I thought Brush might have mentioned it because I googled something, and the guy who played Guy Gisborne. You are?
Is it his voice is in something?
Yes, he played the Emperor originally in Star Wars. The original Emperor was like.
It's the Empire Strikes Back. He's the voice of the Emperor. He's only the voice, though, apparently.
Yeah, well, the original Emperor was like it was like an old woman and a monkey blended together with his voice, but then they redid it all later on. But
because the actor that came in, it was on the DVD release. They changed it to his voice, and then the actor went forward in every other film after that.
Yeah, because the retcon did in there because some of it's like the original, obviously Jabba the Hutt.
Do you know the reason I didn't write it down is because I don't like mixing Star Trek and Star Wars.
Oh my!
No, but the reason, because when I googled it, it's like one of the few actors who've appeared in both Star Trek and
Star You're right.
Part of both. Yeah, well, was it Dermot? I can't remember his name now. Is it the guy who plays the Emperor? You're great. Dee, you are amazing with actors' names. You just knows them all. You should have been on You Bet. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Thank you. But yeah, what's his name again?
Ian McDiarmid.
Just last thing on that video, I remember you're on about 1998. These came out. It just reminded me when my brother, I think it was his birthday. My mum said, "What do you want for your birthday?" He goes, "Oh, can I have the new Star Wars film?" Now, I'm not sure if he was talking about one of the prequels when they came out, or whether it was these remastered ones. But he messaged me taking piss because she said she got him Star Trek Insurrection on VHS. Anyway, there we go. Go on, John Joe. Reel us back in.
What was the talking point? Was it uniforms? Was it aliens and uniforms?
Alien dress wear, I think.
I forgot.
Alien uniforms or styling?
Worst one for me is the angry alien Ken Dodds from Voyager. Kazon.
Oh, Kazon. Oh, yeah, without that. Kazon shit. Everything.
Yes, everything about them is terrible.
Everything about Kazon shit. Everything. Hair,
it always voted in last. It always voted in the bottom of everything.
I like the Kazon.
What? You like the Kazon?
I like the Kazon,
yeah.
Oh,
shut up. No, Penfold, what don't you like? Give me one example, Penfold, of something you don't like in Star Trek.
It's the Mirror Universe, Steve.
Yeah, I know. I said that before.
That's a really good episode of Kazon. I really do think there is.
Oh God! Somebody meet him.
Stick and dump.
Penfold, you are literally on your own on this one, man. I'm not here.
I'm always on my own.
Yeah, he's on his shit.
See, for me, TNG Romulans. I hate them with their fucking.
Oh, they're the best ones.
Just got the massive shoulder pads. It's all silver. I'm just waiting for him to come out and start going, "Do you want to be in my gang, my gang?"
No. They look like they did the Dallas wardrobe and judged it up a bit.
I love a Romulan.
For me, the best costumes have got to be the Cardassian. I love the Cardassian costumes. They're just
the one with the
I've put Cardassian down on mine. I said Cardassian. It suits them excellently. It really does suit them excellently. But it's just one bland color, so I didn't want to make that like my favorite. But it does suit them very well.
Yeah. I was going to say when we saw the Cardassians, they had that.
It was like a headphone. It was like a headphone.
They had a beard as well. If you look, they had a beard coming down there as well.
Yeah, had that thing that went down the front, didn't it?
Yeah.
Stupid.
But yeah, I
It's
mean,
like the
Mark
Ferengi-
Alamo
the
did
Ferengi
not
start
look
out-
good.
Yeah, the Ferengi start out in like animal skins
Yeah.
with whips and sharp teeth,
Yeah.
and end up like, and Quark's like a real sharp dresser, and Brunt and the Grand Nagus are in fine cloth and all of that lot, and they just kind of they change from what they
But
were
I
supposed
like the
to
fact
be.
that the things evolve like that. What I don't like is
Yeah,
fans that go back to what they looked like originally and then complain that it's like, well, come on, like everything evolves and you see what works on screen and then you take the shit off and it worked better. So everything improved. You know, I've got Ferengi as some of the best dressed styled aliens
Yeah,
ever.
totally. But you've got to put the caveat in there. And you've got to say like the businessman style Ferengi, the Quarks and the Grand Nagus.
Well, I don't know
and
when you go back
Liquidated
to the
Brunt.
planet, like when you see Moogie and what she wears, and everybody on the planet has all got a similar. It's maybe not as bright and luxurious as Quark's, but it is all that kind of styling, you know.
Yeah, there's no animal skin and whips and weird shit.
Yeah.
The next time we see anything like that, it's actually in the lower decks. So the whips come out.
I really like those.
Chris, I'm giving you gold here. Come on, I'm talking about whips and all
Yeah,
that
I
lot.
just said, I mean,
And
the actual
masses.
the whips. I actually like the whips, not personally like them. You know.
Who mentioned Romulans?
Me.
Are these the Romulans you're on about? Wait there a sec. Is it that one?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh Jesus!
That's a great Romulan outfit.
The prosthetics terrible though. They didn't have time.
Brilliant. They're really good. They're really good. Don't knock it.
Yeah.
Do you know why they're all different? The Romulans. A bit of trivia you probably already all know because you're all Trekkies, but
North
do
and
you know why
south,
all
north
the
and
uniforms are
south.
different?
Why?
Because it was whatever thick fabric they had in the local shop at the time. That's why all the
Oh, right.
uniforms were different when they were making it. Because
Really?
they were never meant to make loads and loads of them. They were only ever going to like make a few. You know, like when Tomalak first appears and stuff. It was only going to be that, and well, after that they needed to make more, and they just went out and got the duvet fabric from the shop. That's why they're all very, very different. Only in Deep Space Nine you get the start being similar-ish.
Uniform.
Yeah, the pattern.
Yeah.
Because I had a nightmare making the. I'm lifting that up and you can't even see it. Getting the material, I had to have it custom printed because it no longer exists.
Oh, really?
Dedication. Love it. I like the Klingon situation that's come. It's standard all the way through, and it's like the Klingon version of the Monster Maroon that come out in the movies, and that's stuck through the Next Generation, and it's stuck all the way through the Rick Berman Star Trek. It's that same thing with that belt buckle and that grey,
it's great,
kind of shiny,
You know what?
and the fur arms and that. And that you know that spine thing down the back. There's like a metal.
Yeah.
I love that. And that is definitely the Klingon version of the Monster Maroon, but they kept it because there was nothing wrong with it.
For me, the Klingons are the best, right? I just love their whole the species, the ethos, their clothing. Martok's uniform with the fur, I think, just looks incredible.
Yeah,
And it's a shame that they didn't do that with all the others, but then I wonder if that was, you know, in some ways a sign of his rank and where he is that he's got the fancy clothes as opposed to the standard uniform. But I just everything about it. I think the only thing that I don't like are the spikes on the boots at the bottom. I think
they're a bit naff.
I think that would cause more trouble than it would solve. Do you know what I mean? This might be slightly controversial, but I like the Jemadars uniform. I think that's a really smart uniform.
And I know what people are going to say, but there's a little bit of Predator going on for the Jem'Hadar for me. Now I know Nausicaans are like the poor man's Predator, but and that's obvious in the Next Generation. You know, like Starfleet played Domjot and all of that lot, and it's like a Predator stood there, but that's Nausicaans. But the whole when they come running out of the jungle and they've got the cloaking device, the personal cloak. Yeah, that's really good. That is
Another
really
uniform I like is the Erosion Hunters from Voyager.
Oh yeah, very good.
That reminded me of the Predator as well, just for the fact of him. But yeah, I've noticed all the badass characters have always got the best uniforms.
Always.
But wouldn't you love to see like a battle between the Klingon, the Jemadar, and the Hirogen?
Oh yeah.
Round one. Fight!
See how that shit would go down and who'd come out on top.
Yeah. I do like the Vulcan robes. You know, like when you see like Vulcan ambassador, like Sarek wears. There's something. No, I don't know. There's something quite
very
majestic
Jedi
about them. Yeah, it's quite Jedi-ish actually.
They're very
yeah.
Jedi, aren't they?
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
George.
really like the insurrection dress uniform.
Yes.
That was
The white one.
They were great.
I didn't like it.
They're not alien though, are they?
Well, no. I don't know.
I
You
put
wear
my
one, though,
pictures
to
of
walk
my
for it.
favourites in the group chat, so have a look.
They're your favourites.
Oh, why not?
I thought
I'm
they
just
were your
making fun.
worst.
I am making fun as well, mind. They're Gorn. I think the TOS Gorn is hysterical in his little man jumpsuit with
He's
tiny
wearing a
shorts.
dress. He's wearing like
It's
a dress,
awesome.
isn't it, Gone?
I love it.
It looks like he's
No,
just
but
come out of the
also,
kitchen.
That matching collar he's made for himself is amazing. I think that's a female Gorn, and we just didn't realise.
Look at that camel toe.
In the white,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
that's
yeah.
Really bad, that, yeah.
And then Riker in his outfit when he goes to visit Angel One.
Oh, Angel.
Yes, that's horrendous. Yeah.
I was shocked when I saw that episode, and I'm like, oh, look how much hair Riker's got on his chest.
I think one of the weakest uniforms that they could have done a bit better, and it's a bit shit, was the Bajoran militia.
Oh, I quite like
Yeah.
That looks really uncomfortable to me. I know that I'd be walking around like.
It looks cheap. It looks cheap to me. I think it looks cheap.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. It just looks cheap.
Yeah.
I like the way it intersects. I think it's more interesting than the Starfleet uniform, to be honest with you.
What,
The Starfleet uniform is quite boring, like TNG and all that. They're very, very. It's a
Yeah.
jumpsuit, you know, with two colours and a little bit of a design. So yeah.
I like Neelix's costumes as well. I think it
Yeah,
reminds me
but
of
I thought
Quarks.
Neelix because
Very
when I said
Quarky, though.
Ferengi, you
Yeah,
thought to go
Neelix
to
is
Neelix.
just
But
a
if you
Quark.
compare the Ferengi and Neelix, then Neelix don't get a shout because the Ferengi.
No, you're right.
You know.
I don't know who plays Neelix. He was at the last
Ethan
con.
Phillips.
Ethan Phillips.
And he sat there and he went, and someone asked him something at the last con. He went, "Look, I've never been to space. Yeah, I was in California. I'm just an actor." And I was almost going to say, go fuck off then.
He was actually
You know
really
what I mean?
nice, though. He came across really nice, and he
I'm
was
gonna
super
say, I thought-
soft-spoken.
Yeah. I thought he was notorious for being really nice to fans.
I'm going to have to drop now, folks. So I'm going to love you and leave you. Goodbye. But I love you all, and I'll see you all next Thursday. Little Green Men.
Bye.
Parodies. Goodbye.
Should have had German porn music in the background.
Yeah.